Our next speaker is Mr. Rishi Ahuja, founder and managing director, Sunovatech Group, India, UAE, and Qatar.
Can I get some volume? Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rishi, as they just told you, and I would not like to take too much time. I know everybody's really thirsty for some cup of tea, and my talk is now going to take you from fiction to reality. Sunovatech is a pretty, I would say, not a very new company. We are in the business for over the last 18 years, and after rubbing my soles for 8 years in filming, we decided to move into a real hardcore business of making realistic environments that can change people's life as well. So is this what I need to use? And okay, so can I have my presentation, please? Okay, so what we have been doing in the last 18 years, we have done more than 600 plus projects. We are based out in 5 different countries and almost 150 clients in various different sectors. When I say let us go from fiction to reality, it is primarily that particular mode of animation that actually lets people see the future where they are going to belong to, which is going to happen, which has not yet been created. So without taking any much of time, let me play this video, which will showcase you how we are helping transform the future before even it has been built. Can I have some volume, please? Guys at the back? Can we just go back a slide? Are we good? So, somebody need to help me on this. I hope it plays now. No volume. Thank you. So what exactly Sunovatech do and how we get associated with Autodesk? In fact, it's a story that started in 2008 when we were primarily into a media-based industry and we were being given a challenge to showcase something as an infrastructure in the future. And this was never been thought that we will grow up into that particular size. Probably, if I would have not got that particular project of looking at a at a tunnel in Abu Dhabi to be made, I may have been making advertising films or ad films or music videos till now. But then everything changed, you know, when we went more deeper and deeper into it. Primarily, our focus lies into 4 distinctive areas. This is primarily gaming, infrastructure visualization, immersive virtual reality, AR and MR. The key behind all of these particular kind of technologies is the principle of entertainment industry that we have taken up to visualize all the future infrastructure. I would say that we have seen 2 great presentations. There's a lot of storyboarding, there's a lot of, I would say, visioning that is happening, but that is all happening for the purpose of only making an entertainment and make you feel happier and better. But if I have to ask you a question, do you know that if I dig up a big, or make a big road right in front of your house, what is going to be the impact? I would say probably, you know, a lot of you people may not like it. Okay, you like Delhi Metro. How many of you travel through Delhi Metro? Let me ask you. Okay, have you seen the construction sites of Delhi Metro? Are they all messy, or are they good, or what do you say? Have you seen the construction happening? But did you know, before it was being constructed, how Delhi Metro will come, will operate, will it really be successful, or whether it is going to be a failure? These are the kind of questions that we answer using technologies and principles from entertainment industry and converging them into the engineering and architectural sector. So let me take you through now the main content. How do we basically visualize the sustainable infrastructure? To do that, I have to take you back. When we talk about animations, animations is not something that is, you know, being invent of a computer technology or something like that. I mean, if you go back in the history, and of course these are all my Google searches that I've done, but yes, the first form of animations was actually found on Egyptian pyramids, which is right over here, which is basically nothing but a movement that was being captured to give you some kind of an impact and understanding of a particular process or a procedure. Now, this could be feelings, or this could be anything. Then we have got Mickey Mouse. So there are different forms. You know, so animation is already there from a long time. But what changed the animation industry from entertainment was the invent of PCs and making it available to everybody. Everybody can think about, okay, fine, you know, animation, when I can animate a Mickey Mouse, or when I can animate a video game, why can't I take this animation for doing critical engineering decisions? I mean, these are all critical parts. Somebody is making something from fiction to reality, but this fiction is always drawn. And similarly, the engineering principles are also drawn like drawings. But for us to take you forward and to explain you how this entire thing works, I have to go through a couple of new slides as well. By the way, I must tell you that we are running short with time, so I'm trying to run a little bit faster than usual because I want to really show you the future, which is real cool stuff that we have been doing now. Okay, so if I ask you a question, how many of you can understand this? What is this? A flyover? Do you know what is going up and down? All right, it's too complicated. All right, let me ask you another question. How many of you are architects or engineers in this room? Okay, maybe 10%, I would say. So I'm sure you guys can understand. But as a normal human being, okay, as a politician, you will not be able to understand this. As a decision maker, as an investor. So primarily, these engineering principles can only be read by some very select, qualified group of people. But if I show you a very completely different picture, you know, which is these images, how many of you can understand now this? Okay, 90%. So I still have got 10% whom I need to educate a little bit more. Anyways, so when we talk about these imageries and creating these imageries, this is a very, very complicated process. And the reason why principles of entertainment are used is to simplify these particular things. I mean, unless and until we don't visualize, how would we know what are we expecting out of the infrastructure that has been laid out? Just to let you know, most of our projects happen overseas. We don't do too many projects in India apart from just a couple of select projects. But yes, the key idea is that when you look at infrastructure, it is very complex. I mean, you have got layers of things. Just imagine, you know, you guys have got so many utilities in your house, okay? You have got gas, you have got water, you have got electricity, you have got roads. how are these all connected to make you come to a livable space? Then you have got environment, you have got urban landscaping, you have got safety issues. I mean, there are numerous amount of things that goes into creating and visualizing an infrastructure. It is very easy just to say, okay, fine, I wanted to make a bridge, and let me put some pillars and some 3D blocks onto it. It looks like a real wow animation. But that animation never gives you the results and impact unless and until it is done through a mathematical and a scientific way in which we do. So primarily, we address several issues that comes in between in making this infrastructure visualization come true, which you can find out the solution, whether this is going to be most suitable for you or not. The second part is the art of detailing. When it comes to the detailing aspect of visualization, every single element in infrastructure is important. You cannot neglect even a single road sign. You cannot say, hey, hardly matters, this is just looking beautiful, so let it be, let me just play some kind of a cheat and I can play over here. This cannot happen like that. If you are into an entertainment industry, the convergence is to make up the detailing, okay, in terms of what looks best to the human eyes. But over here, the art of detailing is what suits best to the human lives. So the difference between eyes and lives is what is the convergence pattern that goes in. The second, or I would say not the second, but one of the most important factors in such kind of projects when we get into visualization of infrastructure is the time. I mean, you can decide today as a producer that I will have my next release date for my big feature to come maybe in next 2 years or 3 years time, and you've got all the planning team. In this sector, what we get is maybe 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, maybe say, okay, give us in 2 days. So these are the kind of challenges that we go through, and the kind of pipeline and the processes that has to be laid, they're humongous, because it is not just culmination and conversions of infrastructure into visual models, but also adding a lot of simulation elements onto the top of that, which basically can go and give you the results, whether this is feasible for you or not. So when we work onto these particular models, which are created on the methodology coming from the entertainment industry, or I would say a traditional animation industry, the mathematics that works onto the top of that comes from the engineering side of the life to give you and showcase you the right and the true picture. Okay, so when we talk about infrastructure, people are becoming more and more hungrier. I would say their hunger is increasing, and they want us to do now things which are far beyond anybody's imagination. So this is a very unique project which I'll play now. We were being told and called in South Africa, in Durban City. They say, hey, we know that you can visualize 5 years, 6 years from now, but we want you to visualize something which is 40 years from now. And we were completely shocked. 40 years? I mean, if you look at it, last 40 years, the human beings have moved in from a wire-based telephone for which you have to go to 10 blocks away from your house, make a telephone call, to a mobile phone which is in your hand and WhatsApp. And can you imagine what is going to happen after 40 years? This was a completely different set of a project. But of course, we have to limit ourselves with our ambitions, and not just ambitions, but also have to visualize, okay, to what extent we can go. So I'm going to play this project. This is a small AV for about, say, 1 or 2 minutes, which gives you the idea about how we treated the future just from the sake of imagination. I'm sure you have seen Star Wars, you have seen a lot of fiction things, you have seen Mad Max and whatnot, that is there. But the difference is from fiction to reality. We cannot just make a sci-fi movie where the government wants to show its public how their city is going to be in the next 40 years. So this is something that we have to visualize, and that's a very fine and a thin line that we had to cover. Okay. Can I have some volume? Thank you. Okay, before I go to my next section, I would like to call and invite our production director, Aditya, because the next section is that what we are now taking and where we are taking infrastructure as in virtual reality. Eddie, you're going to be there? Okay, so Eddie is standing right there. But before we switch in, let me just talk a little bit about it. Guys, can you just go back to the slide? When it came to virtual reality, when it comes to visualization, of course, there's a lot happening with various different type of things, whether it is Oculus, Vive, or whatnot. And definitely, we can also not stay behind with the technology. So in fact, we have been very, very operative and loud about these particular technologies, especially with virtual reality, because as we said, when we can make a video out of for an infrastructure, why can't we take people and teleport them into the infrastructure? So we did Oculus, we did DK2, DK3, Vive, and then finally a product came, HoloLens. Now this was a very unique product because the limitations of what virtual reality was imposing on human brains was covered, and I would say to some extent that was resolved in HoloLens. The whole idea about was taking you into an environment which is primarily not just fiction, but it gives you the sense of reality as well, so that you can collaborate between the artificial environment and the real environment altogether. So we are going to demonstrate now live. I think, did they connect it, Aditya? Did you connect your laptop? Did you connect it, the HDMI to our laptop? Okay, please. Okay, so it came in WinPack. No? I think, oh yeah, somehow we got it. Addy? Yeah, you're on. So what you're seeing is what Addy is showcasing is an infrastructure which has recently been implemented, and in fact, early this year, we created this model on HoloLens. Now, what it basically does is it actually takes you and showcases you the model right in front. And Eddie, of course, you can see that you're still in the realistic world. What had happened was that the same models that we were been taking and using for only animating either for the purpose of videos or for the purpose of creating virtual reality are now live. People start interacting with these particular models, and rather than giving their comments and design changes and whatnot while they're building up these infrastructures, they can actually feel it. So rather than you taking up the whole video and spending all the time, you can now take these models right in front of them. Now, of course, this technology gets developed as it goes because of the limited capacity of computing that it has got inside it. But yes, over a period of time, this technology is changing ways, and Sunovatech is taking various different things. Eddie, can you just function around a little bit, maneuver around the model, and maybe, yeah, showcase them, You can take the model to somebody, maybe, if you can. So you can start interacting with these particular models, and you can actually do 1,001 things. We are not allowed to showcase the whole details of this model, what it contains, but from the point of view, you can start collaborating between different teams. Now imagine, media and entertainment sector, why I'm talking about all these things, because the pipeline and the backbone about the technical or a scientific visualization passes through media and entertainment itself. It is, the only difference is that what you do in a realistic world is something which is very, very different than what you do in an artistic and a creative world. Both of them, they require creativity, but at the end of the day, one is for making you happier in life, and one is making your life happier. So there are two different things when it comes together, and that is why Sunovatech chose to come into the visualization industry. Now, that is not all about Sunovatech. We are here, so of course, we can play around a little bit more about HoloLens technologies and what we have been doing after this session. Thank you, Eddie. Can you guys switch me back to the presentation? Thank you. Okay, so now a lot of people are saying, you're talking too much about architectural visualization, reality. That's only one part of the story. as I told you, we also get into gaming, but our focus on gaming primarily relies on games that can affect life of people, because we believe in realism and we believe in where we live. So this is a trailer of one of the games that we are recently involved into. This game is for engineers. Again, I love engineers. I'm not an engineer myself, let me tell you. I'm just a BCom graduate from Delhi University, but engineering is something that I really correlate to. We people have got a lot of mathematics and everything. How many of you know Byju's? Everybody knows it. Okay, why? Because Shah Rukh Khan is making an ad? I'm not contradicting about it, but the whole essence about engineering or the tasks is, or any particular educational thing, is all about how you learn it. The whole concept about this particular game, for which I'm making a trailer, is a story that lies between the activities that you do to change and learn the principles of mechanical engineering while you're doing engines. People who are engineers in this room, they know that they have got one of the whole semesters, as in their colleges, to work with or work on the engines to understand how everything works around. And as we say, that engines is the key why we exist to that particular huge extent with all the technology. Engine brought electricity, electricity brought technology and whatnot, and that's why they're the basic principles. Anyways, I won't take too much time. Guys, I need some volume on this particular trailer. Okay, so here we go. Build your engine.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with it? I hope so. It plays.
Yeah. 2412.
Can we have that? Okay. So we have a black screen. So I think I spoke too much about technology. It got offended about it. All right. Should we try now?
Yeah. 2412. A world without fuel. Humanity is divided between two worlds. Future cannot be confined. The ones with means have found a new home. Mars. What all you have is a last chance. Reach to the space station. Prepare your journey. Find your way. Build your engine. Hit the road. The road will lead you to your destiny. Is this the end?
One last most important point. Throughout this journey of Sunovatech, there was one single point, loyalty, that I would say, and that was Autodesk 3D Studio Max. For us, it is one of the most finest softwares. We tested out the way we work, our pipelines, our methodologies, but we never got that leverage in any other software, and the ease of working that we got in for the realistic world by using 3D Studio Max. So I really thank Autodesk for keeping up with the challenge, and of course I will also look at them doing a lot more new features into the product. But at the end of the day, what matters most is what do we give back to this planet? Can we make this planet more sustainable? Can we visualize how our futures are going to be? And where we stand today, I think our country needs to go a long way, but yes, people in the world are all going forward. And this is the young generation that is always invited, who are more capable even than us to bring in, look into technology, look at things which people may not accept so easily. But yes, at the end of the day, if you have the right partners, you have the right software, you have got the right, what should I call, in Hindi, janoon, and passion, in English, I'm sure, the world is not enough, for getting into visualizing anything. Whatever you do, as my dear friends told you before us, whatever you do it to your best. And of course, with the industry partners who are already like me, people are working, there are always challenges, but we need to overcome that. And that's what Sunovatech is all about, delivering promises and only passionate to imagine. So thank you. I rest my presentation over here. And if you have any questions, you are free to ask. This is a video that will just keep playing in background. It has no sound in it. So guys, I'm open for questions. Go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, I wanted to ask, I have lived in Dubai for 6.5 years, and the first project that you showed is near the Sheikh Zayed Road, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask that that design, the complete design was given to you and you had to done the visualization, or you had prepared that project and then you visualized it?
That's a nice question. The design that came to us was a concept design. Normally the way design happens, it happens in 3 stages in the global market. One is a concept design, which is just the sketches done by the planners and the architect, where they will only put the lines where things will go, but they will not put all the details where the lamppost will go, how the intersections are going to work, or how pedestrians will walk, or all of these are not done in concept design because it's just a concept. So yes, we got the concept design, which is a basic form, and then we have to do everything ourselves on the top of it by adding various different principles, taking a lot of references from different areas, dealing and talking with architects. They will make a small sample and then you have to put it everywhere. This is how it has been done. So it's a whole design process. We don't design anything ourselves. We take designs basically from the concept and then we move on onto the top of that. And if it is detailed design, then everything is 100% accurate the way it has to move in.
Thank you.
Please. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. 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 Well, Sunovatech, we have a whole pipeline. We are a team of about 100+ people, and we never calculate how much goes on one single project. So it's not one project. Somebody is doing modeling and texturing, passed on to the next team, and then passed on to the next team. The overall time that it took was approximately about 10 weeks in production, okay, making minus the time where we have sent things to the client and they are not responding. So it was about, I think that was a time, about 10 weeks of production time, yeah. That was a total production time that has got. And I would say about total team size of about, what, 20 maybe, maximum? Yeah, cumulatively it will be about 20 people team off and on working onto the project. Thank you. All right.
We are being interactive with 3D and day by day we are moving ahead. In your opinion, what is the future of 3D animation videos?
Oh, I mean, you're asking me a question, which is very unpredictable. I would say, that the time is going to come that you're going to be wearing glasses like me, like this, and you will watch Mr. Chhota Bheem, walking next to you. Rather than going to cinema, you will be watching movie next while the way it has been playing. I mean, you can think about anything. Future in technology, nobody can answer. And somebody who can answer, I would love to meet that guy.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, if I had answered all the questions, thank you very much. Or do you have any other questions? Thank you very much, audience. And it was a great pleasure presenting Sunovatech in front of you. Thank you.